Okay, hi, my name's Amanda. I'm a mixed media artist. I live in London, UK, and I'm not in my studio at the moment. My studio is a 9 by 6 space box room that I work in, but I've graduated from my kitchen table that I used to use for many years, and anyway, so I'm sure a lot of you can appreciate having a bigger space. I'm at my mum's at the moment. It's my weekend in terms of looking after her. My art journey began, let me think, in primary school. When I was in primary school and secondary school, there were teachers there who encouraged. And so I felt that it was a possibility that I could, be an artist. But then after I left school, I think it was So when I was leaving school, I wanted to do art A level and go on to be an artist. But the head teacher at the time told me, her advice to me was to leave and to get a job. Sorry for the shaking because Mum's helping to tidy up the table. But her advice was to go and get a job. I decided to college for secretarial college, and I did a 2-year stint there because at the time being an artist wasn't a viable occupation, and so I thought, okay, well, it was either be a teacher, be a secretary, or working in a bank. Those were the three options. Like my dad was saying, you've got to get a good solid job that you can depend on. So I got involved in other creative activities. So I joined theatre, did some acting, sung, but all this time really wanted to be an artist, and just really dabbled, didn't really take it seriously, didn't kind of think about what I should be doing and how I should be moving forward. And so just really over the years, I drew, I put it in frames, I put it on my wall, and that was it. And I think I took part in a few group exhibitions, but I never really sold. I think I sold one piece, but I never really saw that I was going to be able to, it would be something that I could really do. When I had my son, I was in my 30s, early 30s, and so there came an opportunity available for me to go to university, and I was thinking, okay, it's my chance to go to art school now. So, but again, it wasn't to happen. The type of funding that I was going to get, you weren't able to do. There wasn't a foundation art course that then led into a degree course that I could take. And so I did complementary medicine and so complementary therapies. So I did that for 4 years and came out, with all this knowledge of, alternative health and nutrition and massage and anything to do with complementary therapies. I mean, I'm still really interested in that, those things, but it wasn't where my passion lay. And so again, I did art as a hobby in the background when I could after work. I went and then went into the world of work, again not pursuing what I'd trained to do as a complementary therapist, but again as in a secretarial PA kind of role. And I worked with a friend she was also an artist, and we were like, we need to find time. We can never find any time to do our art. And it was just, crazy over the years, kind of tried to encourage one another, but still kind of moaned about not having any time. And she went off to do an art degree, and unfortunately she passed away when she finished her degree, passed away. And from then I was just like, you know what, I need to pursue what I want to do. I thought I wanted to be an art therapist because my art really does I'm really interested in how art can impact on our health, and that was through working with mum and doing art with mum, and I realised that she got a lot out of it, and I really wanted to pursue that. But when I kind of did it was an introduction day, and basically the part of the interview for them to see whether you were fit for the course. Did that day, realised I didn't like it. It wasn't what I wanted to do, and so I was offered a place on the course, but then decided I was just like, look, do you know what? I want to be a mixed media artist. That's what I want to be, and that's what I want to be learning. And along the way, I can see ways in which art can impact on health, and look at different tools, different techniques, different materials that as an artist I can use to encourage people to pursue that. And so that's what I've been doing over the years. So that's kind of my journey, you know, skirting around art to kind of here. I then started to take loads of art courses, online courses, went to, you know, workshops and did some courses, and so was introduced to, you know, I think I did, Kelly Ray Roberts was the first course that I did, and I thought, wow, you know, combining all these things, because I did jewellery, I did, you know, making cards over the years, I did so many different things, you know, brought so many different tools, that when I did that course, then I did a Jenny Doe course, Crafting Your Best Life, or Crafting Your Best Life, and then I stumbled across Mistel and, you know, Community Thrive, it was called Little Glimpses, I think, back then, and it just opened up a whole new kind of way of seeing creativity and where I fitted in that, and I was just like bowled over that I could actually find a fit, and it was just like, the expression I use, it was like coming home, and that feeling of being like, this is the place I want to be, this is the place I feel relaxed, I feel nurtured, I feel encouraged. And so I just, you know, just saw it as a way of being able to express myself, to share what I was doing. I could dive into different things, so I got involved in, learned how to, you know, art journal, and just kind of went off, you know, down a road of art journaling, making books. I recently did a course on bookbinding. It was just like, oh my goodness, you know, learning the proper techniques, and it was just like, I really love bookbinding. I really enjoy it. I really love creating all things. I love using jewellery. I love making dolls. I love making dolls out of clay. Mistel did a really good workshop on the soul food last year, and quilting. After I did Mistel, we've got a lot to thank you for, because when I did you did a class where we were doing a quilted figure, and you made a lampshade out of yours. But it took me down a journey where I realised I actually really do like quilting, or the quilting techniques, and making mini ones, art quilts. And so I went on to make wall hangings. And the doll was another session that you did, Mistel, and it was just like, I've always loved working with clay, but I never thought of creating a doll. And I was just like, this is amazing, you know. I love creating on fabric, I love painting on fabric, I love sewing on fabric. Mixed media just encompasses it all, and I love the jewellery bit, you know. I love adding beads, jewellery, embellishments, and collage. It was just, as you can see, I'm really excited about it all, and so mixed media showed me that this was where I fitted. This is where I could do all of the techniques that I wanted to. If I wanted to just paint, I could just paint. I started my journey out as a, I used to draw portraits. And I guess I was fearful of using other materials. I felt safe, with a pencil, and so I would just draw. So it's changed because I've allowed myself to experiment with different techniques, different materials. I've just played, I've experimented, I've not been fearful about getting it wrong. I'm a self-taught artist, so as I say, I didn't go to university. I've just learned along the way. See if you like it. Learn the techniques. Learn the techniques and learn how to do it, and then go down your own path. Use it, incorporate it in what you're doing. And so that's how it's changed, in that I've become a lot freer with my arts, and a lot freer with how I use materials and how I incorporate different materials into my work. And I've just allowed myself to be inspired by other people, to try not to feel, oh my gosh, they're so good and I'll never be, but just to say, well, okay, well, I don't know where they are on their journey, and I might have come where they're like in the middle, so, or, they've been doing it for years, so just to say, okay, well, I'm going to try it and not feel fearful. And that's how it's changed, because I've allowed myself to be expressive, to express myself. I get inspired by looking at the world around me, basically. By, it would just be your day to day. It's other artists as well, be inspired by other artists and thinking, well, when you see a piece of work, how did they do that? I wonder how they did that. And so it was just like seeing elements that other artists use and thinking, wow, how can I use it in the way that I work? And so that's how I get inspired. And just the social media that we have, so Pinterest and all of those kind of tools that we have to be able to see work from people around the world. Taking courses, I think it's important to for continuing self-development, to try and take at least one course, even if it's a free one that you do, but to be doing something where you're learning a new technique. I think it's vitally important that you do that. My ideas are inspired, and I'll say that because when I work, I create backgrounds first. I create the backgrounds, and I guess it's what Miss Dell would call gut art, or pulled art. So when I first started out, it would be, I need to work from a photograph, and I'll draw a picture, and I really wanted to learn how to draw from imagination. So I did that for a few years, learned how to be draw a girl, her head might be tilted or whatever, or you saw different artists do it, and so I tried. I play, have a period of play where I just add colour, add paper, collage paper, a whole different type of range of materials on the surface. I could be working on fabric, I might be working on canvas or whatever, and then at one point I might see something that catches my eye, and then I work with that and I pull it out and I create. But essentially I lay down colour, lay down paper, words, ephemera, and then use that as my starting point, and then find the image. There may be one image, there may be two. A while back there seemed to be families that come in to speak on the page, to tell their story, and that's essentially what I feel it is, that there are characters that want to tell their story, really, and those characters that come out, there's somebody out there that the story is for, and that somebody will resonate with the images that they see, and it will touch them, and that's my hope, that it will touch them and bless them. felt like quitting when I first started out and I was drawing, and somebody quite close to me said to me, I used to practice and practice and practice, and so draw from a photograph, and they said to me that what I was doing wasn't art because it needed to be abstract, and it needed to, you know, when you go into a gallery you need to be able to, you know, look at it and talk about the colour and the tone and all of this. And I got really discouraged and I stopped drawing for about 1.5 years. I just stopped. I just didn't want to go near it because I just felt that, well, I got pleasure from this, and if this isn't art, if this is, I thought it was art, and if somebody's saying that, and that's what they really feel, and they were really kind of strongly, you know, saying, you know, it took a long time to feel brave. I felt I had to, I kind of almost regressed. I didn't want to draw realistic anymore. I just was just messing around, and I wasn't really kind of being myself. But as I went on, and I guess I found myself again in my drawing, and realised that I actually really did. I needed to shut my ears from what they were saying and not go to them, because it was almost like I was looking for approval. But I you know, tried to work through it. So I would say to new artists to just allow yourself to be free in your work, to not compare yourself to anybody, because you have to start from somewhere, and to just draw and draw and draw and draw and play with different techniques. There's so many free courses and free videos that, you know, like YouTube, that you can learn different techniques and you can try them out. And I'd say just immerse yourself in it, you know, and don't listen to somebody who's not drawing or painting or, you know, expressing themselves creatively. If they, you know, criticize your work, don't listen to other people. You know, it's your journey, and it's what you want it to be, not what other people see or what you feel other people should see it as. Because I feel that each and every one of us, there is room for each and every one of us, and we all have a purpose and a place in this world to share our art, to show our art. And I feel that, you know, each one of us, there's somebody out there that's crying out for your work, that's crying out to be blessed by your work, or crying out to be inspired by your work, or the way that you work, or, you know, the colours that you use. And so I encourage you to just keep on going, and to not quit, and to not give up, and to, you know, if you get you know, blocks, find tools in which you can you know, kind of rekindle your creative spirit or muse, or you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, I find writing, when I'm writing, that helps me creatively. When I feel like, oh gosh, I don't know what to draw, and that was before I started to, you know, I play on the page with materials depending on how I feel, and then I see what's there. So now I don't get blocks because there's always something there. There's always something waiting to come out on the paper or the surface. So I'd say, you know, just don't give up. You know, keep on going and keep on drawing, keep on practicing, and the more you do it, the better you'll get. That's the only way. The better, you know, the better you'll get comes from the time that you put in it. You know, there's no kind of like shortcuts. It's the time that you put in it, and you might find materials or tools that you really, really enjoy using, and that might just take you on another direction. And you know, think about things that you've never actually, you know, thought of doing. Like, say, you know, okay, you might draw or paint. You know, start taking photographs, or, you know, start writing, do art journaling, or whatever it is. You know, but try and kind of try different things so that you can see what it is that you like and that you don't like. When I was made redundant from the job that I did after I did my degree, I was there for 7 years, you know, moaning about being an artist. So I was made redundant, and I then embarked on working with the elderly, with dementia, running art workshops, and I did like courses in business and things like that. And my tutor at the time, she was trying to encourage me to start the art workshops, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to start. And she said, okay, well, I challenge you, by the end of the year you need to do this and this. And so I went to the centre, daycare centre where my mum goes, and I said to them, you know, are you interested in, you know, me doing like 6 free sessions? And so that was the April, and I left it, went away, came back, and come the October they were saying to me, you know, are you still interested in doing these workshops, and how much do you charge? And I was just like, oh wow, you know, I was going to do it for free, but no, they said, you know, no, we want to pay you. You know, you need to, you know, create a 12-week series of sessions. Each week must be a standalone session. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I can do that. When I went home, it was just like, oh my gosh. So from then, you know, I decided that if I didn't call myself an artist, I'd never feel like one. And as much as I don't feel like, you know, feeling like an artist, it takes a while to feel like one. It's just like you're affirming yourself, you know, that's what I want to be known as. I don't want to be known as a secretary, a PA. I don't want to be known as, you know, I'm not a massage therapist. There's so many labels which we have. I want to be known as an artist. I'm a mixed media artist, and I often add at the end of that arts practitioner, because I, you know, do the art workshops. I talk about my creative journey and combine that with being a carer. I talk about my journey as a daughter, a carer to mother with dementia, and in that I throw in, you know, my creativity and how I incorporate creativity in my journey, and how it ministers to me, it helps me, it supports me, it encourages me to get through what I'm doing. So, you know, I think, you know, you just, you know when you will feel comfortable with doing it, but you have to start somewhere, you know. It can't be a continual, I wish I was an artist. I wish I could do this. I wish I would have done that. But, you know. I've had quite a few over the last couple of years. My brother passed away from multiple myeloma in 2013, you know, with mum with dementia. It's been a very difficult journey. My friend passed away, you know, 2 years prior to my brother passing away, and it was just like it was a really rough time, and art was the only thing that I could express myself in without having to use words. When, you know, we were praying for Robert's healing and health, and it was just like it was just I could express all of that in an art journal, in the painting, or, you know, and that's what I did. I created an art journal which was just for, I could just write anything I wanted to, and this wasn't anything that I was you know, showing anybody, and yeah, it's just got me through, being able to work with different materials. That's the thing, because, you know, I think, you know, you might paint, but I think you need to have, or I feel I needed to have things that it wasn't about, okay, I'm going to finish this painting, it's got to be a finished picture that I'm going to hang, I'm going to do a print. There was no pressure. It's just, I want to make this thing, and it's got a word on it that inspires me or encourages me. So things that I could sew, things that were meditative in their actions. So the things that I do with beads and jewellery, it slows you down. It kind of makes you just, you can just like, even I take them, and they're things that I can do when I'm sitting with the family or sitting, you know, watching TV. And so I've got quite a few things like that. Those rough times have also made me appreciate my art more, and made me not afraid to show and express where I am, because it's my journey. It does, as I said before, you know, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, about it. I know that there's somebody who can relate to something that I might have drawn, the colours that I might have used, they might be encouraged. And so it doesn't matter what anybody else says. And that's what, you know, going through the rough times have kind of given me a confidence in a way to say, well, you know, there's so many people going through similar things that, you know, as artists we have our, you know, one of our roles is to really just, you know, is to be able to share our work. You know, I see it and express yourself in that way. And I think we have a responsibility as artists to paint, to draw. So I say, you know, it's my responsibility. I have to do it. It's like breathing. You know, it's like something that I have to do. That's how I feel now. And you know, I have to express myself. Whether it's the doodling, you know, even if all you can do is doodle, because that takes your mind off something. You know, you might want to turn it into a painting later on down the line, but just that process of creating a repetition. And so it's my creativity has allowed me to find things that will sit in those places. So, you know, I need downtime, I need quiet time, I'm going to do something that helps me be still, you know. Working with beads, especially small beads, I never thought that I would have the patience for it, but it actually stills and quietens you and helps you to think. Mum agrees as well. Mum used to crochet, so even crochet, I used to do that, you know, making flowers, putting the beads on flowers, and that's just a really great way, you know, to unwind actually. I feel success is doing those things that creatively, for me, that you want to do. I've got so many ideas that I want to try, separating things between what I want my art to say and what I want to try just as a man who wants to try. You know, about finding your voice in creativity, finding your voice in your art, and being comfortable with who you are as an artist. Not seeing where you are as your final destination, but you're on a journey, and every single item, every single technique that you try, you're on a journey. You know, does it meet you back to where you know your own work is? Does it inform your own work? You know, being able to liaise and collaborate with other artists, that's what I define success as. Meeting people and interacting with them online, and you know, for people around the world, you know, that's really great. And as I say, just being able to express yourself in your art is what keeps me going. Knowing that we all have a purpose is essential. For me, my purpose and my faith that God has instilled in me, God has given all of us, and I say this to everybody, God has given us all a purpose, and He's given us skills, talents and abilities, and He wants us to use them. And it's your responsibility to use them. It's your responsibility to find your voice. It's your responsibility to listen and to hear what is being placed on your heart. It's your responsibility to pick up materials and express yourself using those materials. It is your responsibility. You have a responsibility to others, because other people need to see your art. Other people need to see how you use the materials. Other people need to hear your voice through your creativity. And so knowing that, that's what keeps me going. And you know, if I can be an inspiration, if I can be an encouragement, if I can shine my light that God's given me through my work, through my writing, through everything that He's instilled in me, all these ideas that He keeps flashing, you know, that I keep getting, it's like it's my responsibility to take the time to see, okay, is that what I need to incorporate, or is that, you know, just another thing that will enable me to find the quiet time? You know, it's not something I need to do or have to do, it's just something I want to do. You know, I want to try it. I don't want to be I don't want to be a doll artist, you know, making dolls, but I like making dolls, and I will make, you know, fabric dolls or clay dolls or whatever, you know. I'm not going to be a professional bookbinder, but I like making books. I like altering books. And so it's finding where you are. And so it's our responsibility to do that. And yeah, I just want to thank you for listening if you got this far. I hope that, you know, I've been encouraging, and I hope that you find your voice, that you are encouraged, and, you know, come and visit me on some of my platforms. And I did this video because I want to get over the fear of seeing myself on the camera. So I just thought, you know, I'm going to do it and overcome that fear. So stay blessed, and in turn be a blessing.